Hey, what's up guys, it's Aladdin. In today's video, we got a bunch of new stuff and information that I want to discuss with you guys. I'll be going over the latest change that Netflix is doing within the Avatar world, as well as them finally adding The Legend of Korra to their streaming service. After the huge success that Avatar The Last Airbender did on their platform, breaking all sorts of records and all, Netflix has finally decided that they want to add the sequel show The Legend of Korra, hoping it'll repeat the same success as Avatar The Last Airbender. Also, one of the original creators of Avatar, Michael DiMartino, he got the chance to do a live stream at home for the Comic-Con at Home 2020 panel. He discussed Avatar's lasting influence with other comic creators and authors, so I'll definitely go over that as well. Now, voice actor for Zuko, Dante Basco, also had some comments to share regarding Avatar finally joining Netflix and how it's impacted our time right now. And lastly, it's been reported that Toph will be getting her own graphic novel, which will be titled Toph Beifong's Metal Bending Academy. It'll cover right after the events of the show. Essentially, it'll showcase Toph starting her own metal bending academy and where she's been throughout the graphic novel world. But I'll share more information about that later in the video, so if you're new to the channel, definitely stay tuned because you don't want to miss this. But before we get into the video though, I just want to let you guys know that I will be doing another $20 gift card giveaway at 15,000 subscribers. All you gotta do to participate is 1. Be a subscriber, 2. Like the video, and 3. Leave a comment discussing anything that you liked about the video. Once we hit 15,000 subscribers, I'll pick the winner in whatever most recent video I have out, so good luck to everyone. Now lastly, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. It definitely helps out the channel grow and lets others like you stay tuned with the latest shows and movies. And also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you guys can get notified right away when I drop my next video. Now with that all out of the way, we can finally get into the video. Now, Netflix has decided that it will feature The Legend of Korra on their streaming service on August 14, 2020 due to the success of Avatar The Last Airbender. The Legend of Korra was developed as a sequel to Avatar The Last Airbender. If you don't know the background history of the show, well, here's a quick summary. The show follows Korra, our new protagonist, the new Avatar and successor to Avatar The Last Airbender's Aang. The show was essentially praised for its boundary-pushing social-political themes. However, in my opinion, the biggest takeaway from the show were the villains. The villains in this show truly pushed the boundaries to the top, and I have to say, I think the villains were truly amazing in this show. They really captured that essence of evil and wanting to impact the protagonist in a way. Now, that's just a quick summary of the show. As of right now, the show is scheduled to be released on August 14 in America. It was actually just a matter of time for them to add The Legend of Korra to Netflix. Especially with the success of Avatar The Last Airbender, it was pretty obvious that they were going to add this show as well. Now, you might be wondering, what about the live action series? What's up with that and all? Well, the live action series has nothing to do with this. Matter of fact, the live action series is its own complete thing. Now, I do believe that Netflix only wanted to add The Legend of Korra to their streaming service just because they clearly saw the amount of success that Avatar managed to get. I mean, when you see one of the original series do well, why wouldn't you want to add the sequel to it, right? So that's exactly what they're gonna do. Now, regarding the live action series, we know that Netflix will be doing an adaptation of Avatar The Last Airbender. However, there is no news regarding if they'll do a live action series for The Legend of Korra. My guess would be, if the live action series for Avatar The Last Airbender does well and Netflix sees positive reviews, they'll most likely go down the route and create a live action series for The Legend of Korra. But only if Avatar The Last Airbender does well. That's the only way I see The Legend of Korra getting a live action series. Now, since we're on the topic of the live action, we still don't got any new news regarding what's up with that. Brian and Michael have been pretty quiet about that and all. They're most likely just finishing up the scripts and finding locations where they're gonna film. However, we do know that Jessie Flower, who played Toph, spoke to them a while back ago where she said that Brian and Michael were aiming to shoot in Canada, which I could see happening. Now, if you didn't watch my last Avatar video where I mentioned the possibility of them including LGBTQ+ characters to the show, as well as them bringing the old cast members to do cameos, you can check out that video on the top right here, or you can check it out in the description. I'll leave a link there so you guys can watch it right after this video. But anyways, we'll most likely get some actual news from Brian and Michael later this year. The reasoning we haven't gotten much news thus far is because the whole COVID situation at the moment. It's really put a huge halt on all Hollywood production. However, I'm pretty optimistic that we will be hearing some new news in the upcoming weeks and months, so I wouldn't worry too much about that right now. But speaking of the original creators, Michael DiMartino had a live stream at home with some of the other creators and authors for Avatar for the Comic-Con at Home 2020 panel, where they discussed Avatar's influence over the years. Here's a quick snippet of Michael talking to everyone about Avatar.
You know, Brian and I just were, animation dudes back in early 2000s who wanted to make a TV show that, was cool and that we liked and that, hopefully would stand the test of time, which it somehow has. So, in some ways I feel like we got lucky too in the fact that this show even got made, that we got to tell the story kind of the way we wanted to in this at the time, doing a kind of continuous story in kids animation was not a thing that was happening.
Yeah.
You know, it was more common in Japan, but certainly not in the US, and certainly not on Nickelodeon. They were kind of confused by what we were making. But to their credit, they kind of were like, all right, you guys seem to know what you're doing, so we'll let you run with this idea. And you know, so now when it's I think part of the reason why, like, now that the original series is back on Netflix, why it's doing well is because it kind of fits that format already, where it's like, even though they're standalone episodes, it's, you know, a continuous storyline. So
he basically just spoke about the process that him and Ryan had to go through when creating the show with Nickelodeon and all. He also mentioned how he believes that they got lucky for telling such a story the way they wanted it to be told. I think that's important to note, just because some creators out there are sadly limited when it comes to being fully creative in their project and keeping it the way that they want it to be. However, I'll say it once again, I'm truly happy that Brian and Michael got to tell their story the way that they wanted it. I just think it's amazing that Nickelodeon gave them the chance to tell their own version of their story to the world. But anyways, throughout the panel, they all discuss how Avatar has become such a huge influence over the years and how it's impacted millions of lives. There's no doubt that Avatar hasn't impacted millions of people. The show has literally magnified itself into something completely bigger now, especially since Netflix added the animated series on their platform. It basically just gave the show a huge boost for new viewers as well as old viewers to rewatch it again. But what do you guys think about Michael's comments in this clip? Do you agree with Avatar becoming a huge influence over the years? Let me know in the comments what you think. Now recently, the voice actor who played Zuko, Dante Basco, he sat down with comicbook.com where he got the chance to discuss about Avatar joining Netflix. Comic Book asked him, how has it been the last couple of weeks since Avatar got on Netflix? Everybody was really ecstatic. I've seen more postings about it. It threw me back to when it was first on TV and we were on it really hardcore. Dante ended up replying, yeah, I think it kind of blew up out of nowhere, which is great and unexpected, but it really goes to show you A, the power of Netflix, and B, the power of a really good project that kind of lasted over the years now. And it's like you said, it may be more popular than when it was first out. One thing that I definitely want to acknowledge is Dante has always appreciated and praised Avatar: The Last Airbender. I don't think you'll ever hear him slander the series or talk bad about it. He's always been positive and optimistic for everything they've done, and you can clearly tell by the way he talks about it. Another thing that I do want to point out is how he mentions that the popularity of the show has reached a larger audience than it's ever before. I feel like that's due to the people that were kids back then. They're now all grown up and in their 20s and just decided that they wanted to rewatch Avatar once again. I mean, I'm one of those adults now. I'm 23 still rewatching Avatar like it's my first time. Now, Comic Book would also talk about Dante's character becoming one of the most relatable characters and all. They said, I see you've actually become the most relatable character in the show. When I'm in charge of stuff to write about, I keep tabs on the fan base. 80% of the memes are Zuko memes. Dante ended up saying, of course man, I mean, that's rough buddy, has become one of the most quoted lines. It's strange that these lines that we don't think much of them when we do them. It's just how the project came out. It doesn't strike me why they become a part of the zeitgeist in whatever world we're in. That's rough buddy, and hello, Zuko here. Little lines that I didn't think much of when we did and something stuck with how the project came out. Become kind of these catchphrases in life for people to use and then they use in their regular life. I get a kick out of all that. Again, little things that none of us could predict. You know, we didn't plan any of these things. These things happen organically. I'm proud of that multiplying, you know? What's crazy about his response is that it's so true. Fans really do go crazy over his little lines like, that's rough buddy, and hello, Zuko here. Lines like those have become classics for many fans, and truth be told, I don't blame them. I'm just glad that Dante notices the fans' enthusiasm for his character and all. It's just nice when an actor can sense that his fans truly enjoy and admire his character so much. Now, as I said in my last Avatar video, I think it would be really cool if they allowed him to be in the live action series to do a cameo. I mean, his voice is so iconic and recognizable, the fans would quickly notice that it's him. I don't know, me personally, I think a cameo of him in the show would be dope. But what do you guys think? Would you guys like to see Dante doing a cameo in the upcoming live action series? Now, if you're a fan of the graphic novels, it has been confirmed by Penguin Random House that Toph will be getting her own graphic novel. The title is set to be Toph Beifong's Metal Bending Academy, which will follow Toph right after the events of the show. Now, we all know that Toph is by far one of the greatest earthbenders of all time. At the age of 12, she's managed to discover how to metal bend, something which was previously thought to be an impossible task. If you started the graphic novels right after the show, you'll know that she ends up starting her own school to teach metal bending to others. Now in the comic sequel to Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Promise, it had mainly revolved around a conflict between Aang and Zuko regarding the Fire Nation colonies in the Earth Kingdom. Now there was a portion in the comic that had covered the Metal Bending Academy. This is where we would also see Toph taking in 3 students, Ton, Penga, and lastly the Dark One. Now there was a moment in the comic where Sokka would end up visiting Toph at her school, which was in part 2 of The Promise. He ended up learning that the school was originally used by firebenders and that they would end up returning back there. Sokka would come up with a solution where it would involve both of Toph's students and the firebending students to take part in a little competition between one another. Now the problem with this was, none of Toph's students could actually metal bend, which would later cause trouble for them. However, it wasn't until the end of the comic where they would learn how to metal bend. Toph's students would later then assist Aang and the team in the final battle at Yu Dao, which was in part 3 of The Promise. Now Toph wasn't featured too much in the next comic trilogy, The Search. However, it was revealed that more people had taken an interest in metal bending and wanted to give it a shot. For example, Yu Dao's chief of police had taken an interest in metal bending. We would also learn that in The Legend of Korra, Toph would end up becoming the police chief for Republic City years later. What's fascinating about that is that many in the police force were metal benders, including her daughter Lin. She would end up taking over as chief after Toph retired. Now Toph's second daughter, Su Yin, had also started her own metal clan in the city of Zafu. As you see, Toph played a huge role when it came to metal bending. She was the first to ever do it, and without her, none of this would have been possible. But as of right now guys, the story will take place right after the show. It'll most likely be during one of the timelines where Toph was absent, such as the Search comic. Now I won't talk about this comic in this video, but if you didn't know, Katara will also be getting her own standalone graphic novel, which will be titled Katara and the Pirate Silver. I'll talk more about that in a separate video. But as of now, Toph's graphic novel is scheduled to be released on February 16, 2021. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys as of right now. Now I am interested in knowing what you guys think. There was a lot of new information regarding Avatar news, and I want to know what you guys were mostly interested in. Let me know in the comments section what you guys thought about this overall. Now I will be covering everything about Avatar, so any leaks, news, casting, and reviews, I'll have all that covered for you guys on this channel. So definitely make sure that you guys subscribe so you guys don't miss out on anything. But before I go, don't forget about that $20 gift card giveaway that I'll be doing once we hit 15,000 subscribers. All you gotta do to participate is 1. Be a subscriber, 2. Like the video, and 3. Leave a comment discussing anything that you liked about the video. Once we hit 15,000 subscribers, I'll pick the winner in whatever most recent video I have out, so good luck to everyone. But finally, I just want to say thank you all for watching, and if you haven't already, hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't by now. Also, hit that notification bell so you guys can get notified right away when I drop my next video. If you don't mind, share the video if you thought it was good and want others to see it. Thank you all once more, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.